Hey guys, today I wanted to address the subject of drone photography and filmmaking as it pertains to marine mammals. This is quite a controversial subject, and I put it to you that the regulations regarding the use of drones around these amazing critters in our ocean are overreach and they go too far. Obviously, there are rules and regulations about this sort of thing all over the world, and here in Australia we have some pretty stringent rules and regulations regarding flying a drone in proximity to a marine mammal, so that's a dolphin or a whale. These rules don't just apply to drones, of course. We're not being singled out unfairly. They also apply to helicopters and also boats, and even address the subject of getting close to a whale if you're swimming in the water. However, Australia is a country that is in love with red tape and loves over-regulating things and licensing everything that moves or doesn't move. And the subject of flying drones around marine mammals is no different. The rules and regulations that cover this particular subject were updated a couple of years ago here in Australia, and they now directly refer to unmanned aircraft. Now, that's not to say that all of these rules and regulations are overreach. For instance, if you've got a helicopter, which is of course a massive aircraft making a lot of noise and creating a huge downwash, I can see how that would be an intrusive object for a mammal swimming through the ocean. So under the new regulations here in Australia, drones are banned from getting within 100 metres of a marine mammal. And the fines for breaching the biodiversity conservation regulations of 2017 start at about $1,000 and move upwards from there. Now, all of this would be well and good if this was a universal rule applied equally to everyone, but it's not. There's such a thing as a scientific permit which allows people to fly a drone within 20 metres of a whale. So hold on. We're saying on the one hand that it's harmful for an ordinary person to fly a drone within 100 metres, but if it's for scientific purposes, 20 metres is fine. I mean, if we're saying that drones are harmful to whales and they should be kept at least 100 metres away from them, then surely that's all drones. There's nothing special about a scientific drone that would make it less harmful, supposedly, to a whale. And the other problem is that these scientific permits are not being doled out to scientists. There are some landscape photographers and adventure photographers based all around Australia who have been given these scientific permits and are allowed to fly their drones within 20 metres of marine mammals. And so what are the scientific outcomes of letting normal photographers fly their drones within 20 metres of marine mammals? What science, what papers, what studies are they contributing to? The simple truth is that there is no scientific outcome resulting from these videos and photographs being taken under these scientific permits. They are simply an expedient way of allowing tourist organisations to fudge the red tape and get the photos and videos they need to attract people to particular regions around Australia. Now you're probably saying to yourself, maybe these photographers who are taking these photographs and shooting these videos have more professional drones that are less intrusive towards the whales and the dolphins that they're photographing and filming, and I can state categorically that that is not the case. In fact, a lot of these photographers have much larger drones that make more noise than the normal little consumer drones that most people are flying. So my point is, either we're saying that all drones are bad, or we're saying no drones are bad. You can't have it both ways. If it's okay for these people to fly their drones within 20 metres of a marine mammal, then surely it's okay for everyone. So of course the $64,000 question is whether drones are in fact harmful in any way, shape or form to marine mammals. Now nobody's arguing that it's not a good idea to protect these amazing and beautiful ocean creatures. But what if drones are not even remotely harmful to these critters? What if, in fact, they're completely oblivious to drones and totally unaware of their presence around them? A few years ago, a professor at one of the universities here in Western Australia actually studied the phenomenon of drone noise as it pertained to marine mammals. And if you want to look up the survey, the exact name of the study was, and I'm going to have to read this quite long, Noise Levels of Multi-Rotor Unmanned Aerial Vehicles with Implications for Potential Underwater Impacts on Marine Mammals. So they conducted this study in conjunction with a marine bioacoustics lab in Denmark. And they tested how well drone noise travels through the water and therefore how intrusive it's likely to be for a marine mammal. And what they discovered categorically was that drone noise does not carry through the water at all. And furthermore, they also pointed out that even if it did, the noise level of the drone was such that the ambient noise of the ocean would completely blank it out anyway. They tested the drones against the hearing thresholds of dolphins and whales, and they found that they got nowhere near their hearing capabilities. Even when the drones were less than 10 meters away from the mammal, they found that there was no way the mammal could hear the drone. So I think it's fair to say that we can categorically state that the whales and dolphins swimming around in our oceans will be completely oblivious to the noise of a drone. Now, the other argument, of course, is that drones are harmful to marine mammals because they'll somehow fly into them and come into contact with them, despite the fact that there has never been a single case of that happening. If you look at the legislation here in Australia, it talks a lot about the potential for these things to happen, but they're very light on actual facts. The regulations also mention the area of the noise of the drones and suggest that they're intrusive to the animals, but as we've already illustrated, this is complete bollocks. Now, of course, the simple fact of the matter is that the whales here in Australia migrate up and down the east coast to and from Antarctica and up towards the equator to breed. And they do so twice a year, and they cover quite a bit of the planet in the process. And the regulations regarding the use of drones vary enormously amongst the countries through which the whales pass. And in some places, there are no regulations at all regarding the use of drones around the whales. And in all the years that the whales have been migrating up and down the coast and drones have been flying over them and taking photographs and shooting videos, it hasn't had any effect on them whatsoever. In fact, the numbers of whales have grown substantially, which is of course an absolutely brilliant thing. But if there was something upsetting these whales, surely we'd see the numbers diminishing, but we don't. Now, like I said, I am absolutely 100% in favour of the protection and conservation of marine mammals. I want to see them prosper and do well. In fact, there's a strong argument to say that taking photographs and videos of whales and publicising them, putting them out on Instagram, social media and websites and all that kind of thing, is only a benefit to the kind of organisations that are trying to conserve these amazing creatures. Because if they're seeing these beautiful photos, people will spend money on these organisations, they will contribute to the non-profits and charities. And of course, there's the benefits to the tourist business here in Australia, which is one of the mainstays of the economy in this country. People are taking these photographs of these beautiful creatures, and people are seeing them all around the world. They want to go and see them too, and they can go out and see them responsibly on the whale watching boats that go out from all the ports on the east coast here in Australia. So I put it to you that actually a tiny sub 2 kilogram drone is not a huge threat to a whale. I put it to you that a Japanese scientific research vessel with a bloody great harpoon on the front is a far more pressing concern to the whales that migrate up and down the coast here in Australia. And so I humbly put it to you that if the Australian government was actually serious about conserving and protecting these beautiful creatures, they would stop Japanese vessels from cruising through Australian territorial waters and harpooning them. So what do you think, guys? Am I talking out of my arse, or are these regulations regarding the use of consumer drones in proximity to marine mammals overreach? What do you think? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye. No, that's wrong. No, actually, that's fine. Hello, focus on me. Unmond. The burp.